man on the radio, Bert Martinez.
Woo! Hey, everybody, it is Money for Lunch. I am your host, Bert Martinez. I'm excited. We have a great menu for you today, and I appreciate you guys checking us out and hanging out with us for lunch. All right, coming up, we're going to be talking to Liz Trujillo and her husband, John, and we're going to be talking about, photography, and they're going to give us some tips and strategies about photography, how to pick a great photographer. And so we have both Liz and John. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. So,
hi,
okay, now,
Hi.
tell us, hey, Liz, hey, John,
Hello.
now, real quick, what is your website?
Yes, our website is jnltphotography.com, and JNLT stands for our names. It's John and Liz Trujillo. So you're anybody who's listening, welcome to go into our website. We're actually, I was listening to your show earlier, so that was great. We utilize media quite a bit, social media. So we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, Vimeo. So it helped us quite a bit to be able to utilize social media marketing.
Well, I love it. Now, tell us this. How long have you guys been taking pictures?
About 30 years.
About 30 years. So you guys are pretty good at what you do then.
We like to think so sometimes.
All right. So how do you like to work your husband and wife? How have you guys been able to work together as husband and wife?
That's a very interesting question, and for me it's very new because I've been solo as a photographer for most of my life, and then all of a sudden, Liz and I, we've been married, must be 20 years now, and all of a sudden she takes an interest in photography, which is kind of like a dream come true, and it's a surprise too. And then all of a sudden there's a cascade of questions. Oh my goodness, this is my wife. I'm going to be working with her. So there's a lot to think about. And we have two little girls as well. And all of a sudden, they're taking a shining interest in photography as well. So we kind of thought, well, let's make this a family adventure. And really what Liz has done, she's really sort of spearheaded in a sort of a visionary way, which is quite exciting, how we can kind of approach this. And so we're kind of making this a family extended outing in that sort of sense. Yeah. So we thought if we become too exclusive among ourselves, then there's always going to be problems with communication, problems with who's doing what when, and it's going to affect booking. And it's going to affect the nuts and bolts of the actual business. So we thought, how are we going to make this really smooth everything out? What we found is the more we meet, the more we communicate, the more we get together, the more we bring ourselves together, the closer our family gets.
Absolutely. And you know what? And I'll tell you something else, John and Liz, is that when you look at some of the biggest companies today, they were started just like you're starting your venture. It started with a husband and wife team, and then the kids came on board, and that's how Walmart started. That's how Roebuck and Sears and Roebuck started. These were all family-oriented businesses that, of course, have grown over, who have gotten bigger over the generations. Johnson & Johnson, a family business. Heinz, another family business. So some of the biggest companies today started just the way you guys are.
Now that's encouraging. That's the sort of thing we love to hear, and it invites us to look for tomorrow always. And that's really what it's all about. And sometimes we kind of have to we take a little bit of a break and we catch our breath. Really, we're catching our breath as a family, and Liz and I, we're looking at the girls, and we're thinking, as far as we ever go with this, there's a good chance, at least one of our girls might take it even farther. And that's really what we're kind of thinking now. It's like this is beyond a dream come true, because this is something we never really dreamed of.
And you know what? And what's really, I tell you, what's really exciting is, you know, when you start thinking about having your girls come on in and help, or you know, or for those who are who have a business similar to John and Liz's, where your kids are getting involved, you never know what those kids are going to do, especially as technology changes everything. You know, what was impossible a few years ago is now every day possible. You know, John, since you've been a photographer for 30 years, you know, the old day where you had this thing called film and you had to develop it, you know, that's basically almost non-existent. And I'll tell you kind of an interesting story with my own kids who help around our business. You know, my son came up to me, and he's 21, 22 years old, came up to me and said, "Hey, the fax machine's not working. I can't get any of these faxes out." And I said, "Did you dial 1?" And he says, "Dial 1? Why would anybody do that?" I said, "Because this is a landline, and you have to dial 1 plus the area code plus the number." And he goes, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Yeah, you could just, you know, here's a kid, you know, who's been, you know, he's a sharp kid. And he had never had to dial 1 plus a number because he grew up with digital numbers.
That's amazing.
Not only that, nowadays you don't even have to fax. Most people are scanning everything. We scan our contracts. We email our contracts. So really, fax is starting to become, you know, void as well as you mentioned with the film.
Film. That's right. I mean, you know, absolutely. We seldom use a fax as well. Okay, so let me ask you this: you guys do both wedding and corporate photography, or do you have a specific niche?
Oh my goodness, we're doing so many different types of photography that we can't even really describe a niche. But our true niche is in what we deliver to our client. We give them royalty-free packages. They actually, when they receive their package from us, they are the copyright owners. And they're free to do, and they are encouraged to do anything they want with whomever they want, take it anywhere they want. And if they make money with that package, you know, all power to them. And that's just the way we are.
Now, John and Liz, hold on a second. Speaking of making money, I got to take a quick commercial break, and I want to talk more about this copy-free, royalty-free photography that you do and why it's important. A lot of listeners. We are back. My name is Bert Martinez. I am your host. This is Money for Lunch, and right now we are snacking with Liz and John Trifio. How do you pronounce your last name?
You say
Liz. It's Trifo.
Okay.
Trifo, yeah.
So anyway, John and Liz Trifo, they are expert photographers, and John was starting to say something that really caught my attention, and that is when you deliver your photos to your clients, they belong to your clients, they're royalty-free, and what a lot of people don't understand, when you go to some of these other places, they brand the photos. It's got their logo at the bottom right-hand corner of the photos, don't they?
Or either that or a watermark, which is very difficult for somebody to edit them. And
there's even anti-copying technology in some of the digital images that are out there now. So if you try to copy them, or even if you try to scan some of the prints, they will look horrible. So the companies that are doing this are putting a lot into protecting their right to have to maintain copyright ownership. So once the company has a strong hold on copyright ownership, then the client literally has to go back to that company and nobody else to have anything done with their photography. And that's really been the way it's been for a long time. It's sort of an industry a standard way of operating. I have no bones to pick with that, other than I really want our client to be liberated because I come from, I'm really glad you mentioned it, the old film day. I used to shoot Kodachrome. I used to walk around my Nikons loaded with this Kodachrome film, and the digital advances liberated me in so many ways, and I want to share the liberty, really. And I see in sharing this liberty a kind of a wide open niche that we can kind of sneak into, and really that's what it's a business move. We're going to sneak into Liz niche. We already are there. We're going to deliver our product consistently, royalty-free, copyright-free, and we will ask, we have forms, specially made up forms, and we will ask our client, so can we use some of your images? And we really emphasize the point that these are your images. Can we use your image to help us promote ourselves? If we look good, if you look good, everything looks good. So that's really what we're going after. So when we really get good-looking images, we can use those images to promote ourselves, and that is sort of a driving force in keeping our business rolling, if not even growing.
Right. And I love the fact that you're making a difference, because there's so many people that don't understand that they're really getting ripped off. They're being taken advantage of because they think that they own their own photographs, but the reality is they're copywritten, they're owned by the company that took the pictures, and what you guys are doing is delivering great service and value to your customers. So I'm glad to have you on the show. Now let me ask you this, as entrepreneurs, what has been your biggest challenge?
I think our biggest challenge right now is branding. We have a little different bit of a view how we're going to be branded, or how we want to brand ourselves. Liz is more interested in wedding style photography, and I'm a little more interested in commercial style. And what I'd like to do is we're kind of struggling to try to blend this so that we keep each other happy. And that's our struggle right now. It's like we don't want either of us to be sort of held back in what we like to pursue. So Liz wants to pursue weddings. That's awesome. I think that's fantastic. And I kind of want to pursue the commercial end. And to me, that's awesome too. So if we can bridge this, then that just makes the dream that much brighter for both of us. And we have to, for me to go and do a wedding, it's one of the most creative, expressive forms of photography. It really makes me shoot my best, be at my best, and it really makes me think a lot. And I could take that with me every shoot I do, especially in a wedding shoot. Every wedding shoot, I learn so much. What I learn from that, I can take it and I can branch out and apply to other fields. So this way, neither of us are really going to get bored.
Right. No, I love it. And so how long have you guys been working together, Liz?
I would say that, it was funny. I'm going to try to make a little bit of a shorter story, but we were shooting on a wedding for friends of ours, and this is going back almost 2 years ago, and somebody said, you guys work so well together, you guys should be going commercial. And because John's background is wildlife, he's been published all over the world, I said to John, let's do it. And at the beginning, he was not too sure about it, but then he said, yeah, sure, why not? And so I would say that we've been shooting for more commercial for the last 3 years maybe, and I really got at it with advertisement, with having our website, with going to all the social media in the last year and a half or so. So that really gave us a huge loop into people out there to know who we are.
So Liz and John Trifle, if you want some great photography, go to their website, jnltphotography.com. John and Liz, thank you so much for sharing your story.
No problem.